Okay, so this spreadsheet here is one that we can use for assessing options. So we originally developed this for using in a tender or an RFP, request for proposal process, and we'd actually have suppliers and a set of options in here, and we'd be scoring them against the same sort of needs and wants that we did in the exercise before. So again, so coming out of the exercise, the needs and wants analysis, basically we're now going to use this to make decisions around an option. So this is particularly useful because it's in applying logic and analytics to what can be an emotional area. And remember, we defined those needs and wants back in the sort of the, I guess, the cold, controlled environment before people get sort of emotional and heated. So that's why we do that right back at the start. So in essence, we look at an option, this one here, yep, they're both, we put a yes there, it'd be a good start, wouldn't it? So they're both compliant, whereas this one here, it's got a yes and a no in terms of it's not going to be within budget if we go down that route. So if it doesn't meet one of these, you don't even need to assess it anymore, but this next one is. So what we then can do is we can start looking at different options and then scoring them. So how would they score for fit for purpose for this first option? So let's say we give that one a 9, and we'll just go down and give them some scores, and then we give the second option different scores, and again third one, so a couple of things. What you can see from here is we've now got a spread in terms of, oh hell, we didn't even need to do that second one, but that's okay. In fact, I'll just copy its scores over just to show you how versatile this is, and we'll take that one out. So what it does is it then gives you sort of a range of scores, but what I tend to do too is when I'm actually scoring them, if you go into the next sheet, you've actually got some spaces here for each of those scores, so fit for purpose. Why did you give it a 9 or why did you give it an 8? Because later on when you get down to talking with people, you can't remember why you scored it that way, so we can just enter stuff in there as to explaining why that was fit for purpose. You know, it was met the spec. And the other thing you can do, if you do Alt Enter, you can put more than one thing, one row in that cell. Met the spec, clear guidelines, something to that effect. We tend to get these, so if you've got 2 or 3 people involved in this, get them to do it individually and then get them to come back and do it as a group. And a group, so if you're working with a client, it's a group of people. If you're working with a family type environment, again, might get them to individually score this and then come back and do it together and agree on a score. But what you've then got is, you know, something to actually base those discussions on. And so then over here we've got a little chart, and it'll show you where they sort of rank. And so is that an exact answer or an exact science? No, but it's pretty good, and it gives you some analytics to go around what would have otherwise been sometimes an endless discussion going round and round in circles.